Hello. Yeah, there's no music. I kind of gave up right now. I mean, I could just have music on in the background, like, physically, but I don't think it'd be picked up because of the filters. Yeah, I just put that in there because, like, sometimes people don't pay pay attention, and then they get angry when they hear spoilers, but I'm putting the warnings up that I will be yapping about spoilers. I'm a little bit ill-prepared for a yap session. Because, like, I don't know if I want to, like, show images or something. But, like, I have, like, a wiki pulled up, so I might be able to just use that to explain things if I need to. I'm also doing a little bit of a different setup. But, I'm still typing. Give me a second. One second. Alrighty. Everything is set. By the way, there's an award show for smaller VTubers soon, and I nominated you for 2 categories. I know one was related to one who made everything themselves, but not specifically rigging. Oh. Well, that's interesting. And there was an art one, too. I hope this gives you the boost you deserve. Oh. Well, thank you. Also, this is the new setup. I don't... There we go. That should work now. Yeah. Also, you're still on waiting screen. Give it a minute. It's probably lagging. I do have like an interesting setup, cause like had one for like, oh, just regular, I'm doing my game things or whatever. And I have one where it's just like, I'm just here talking to you in front of a silly little background. And I hope it's working. I have a funny little hat on that I'll explain. I'm just gonna give it a second. Actually, when you said this is the new setup, it changed. I do expect there to be like lag, not just because like my internet's probably not the best, but more like just because that's how the site works when you stream anything. I think I do have it set on a little bit of a delay. Maybe. But soon we begin our Twisted Wonderland discussion. Also, you like my silly little hat? I think your background is beautiful, not silly. Also, you fit right in with Twisted Wonderland fashion. Well, it makes sense. Given the background of Twisted Wonderland, it makes sense why I fit in with the fashion. Because, like, my model is loosely based off of CL Phantom Hive, and I'm gonna keep bringing him up again because Black Butler and Twisted Wonderland are, like, connected in my brain. And that's because it is the same creator for both of those projects, so I might be referencing that a lot when I talk about some of the characters. Because some of them, like, they really are just, like, new and improved versions of some characters from Black Butler, so at least that's how I feel about some of them. Especially Riddle. I don't know if you've encountered Riddle yet, main story-wise. I know he shows up at some point after you clear the prologue, but he is the redhead, the angry redhead. There's a few redheads, if you think about it, but Riddle's the angry one. His face goes all red. The only things you're missing are Soom Riddle and that Colleen drawing you did. Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to add on the background, though. That was the thing. I was like, oh. Do I want to use my old slideshow that I had, or do I not want to? I don't know if I can find it. But that would be more like basically me explaining how the game works. I mean, I could do that. Let me see if I can find it. It's somewhere in here, in my files. I just need to pull it up on my other monitor so I can still see. I actually did see Riddle. I saw him during the orientation. Yeah, I remember. Alright, it took me a while because it's been so long since I've, like, played it from the beginning. So I kind of forget a little bit of, like, what happens when. My timeline's a little bit jumbled. And some things I don't know if they've been explained yet or not. Or, like, if some things come up, like, in the main story, so it's, like, not even really worth being, like, spoiler warning. Or not. I'm trying to find it. Where did I save it? It's probably in a folder of junk. But, like, yeah. It's, yeah, because, like, I know that there's some facts that are, like, explained. Well, not explained, but, like, mentioned fairly early on or in some of the early cards. Where it's, like, it's just ingrained in my memory that, yeah, that's, like, a fact of, like, this character or whatever. Or that character. But then there's some things where I'm like, I think that's mentioned much later, and I think that's, like, plot important. Because, like, with, like, plot important stuff, it's like, oh, I found it. Because, like, with plot important stuff, I don't want to spoil it. Let me see. Yeah, no, I don't want to use this. I don't want to use this old explanation thing I had. I don't feel like it. Although, I might just pull up this one image. This one image, because I think it is funny. Because again, I'm going to be explaining. Well, not really explaining, but like I'm going to be consistently talking about which characters remind me of what characters, if I can figure out how to show this. Or I could just make this so much easier on me. This. This is Jade Leach over the colored image over here. And then the manga panel is Sebastian Michaelis from Black Butler, and yes, they're eerily similar to me. They're very eerily similar, and I love it. The biggest surprise to me was that the hitchhiking ghost exists if they're the ones who live in on Earth. Yes! Like I said, I mentioned this before, there's like a lot of random, like, haunted mansion stuff in there. And I'm like, I'm not surprised, because Yana likes Disney stuff. She likes the park. She likes Descendants. She likes a bunch of sequels. Which is interesting, because yes, some facts from, like, sequels are in this game. Because, like, the character based off of Jafar, he has a sister. Because, yes, Jafar has a twin for some reason. So, like, that's a thing that's in the game. Oh, thank you. I mean, it's not my passion, but I know how to do it. Sip my coffee. But, like, yeah, some characters do have striking resemblances to previous characters, and I think the Jade Leech being very similar to Sebastian Michaelis is the funniest one. Because it's like it's just like, it's basically just a reskin of Sebastian, but like you can make him like less of a demon or something. It's funny. Along with the fact that Jade is a twin. And the twin is, like, nothing like, Sebastian, which is funny. And I constantly joke that Jade Leech is the Sebastian of the sea. Because that is what he is in my brain. Oh, wait, let me see if I can pull this up. Because this was news that happened shortly after Thursday. They started dropping new figures, but without like an illustration. It popped up on my feed. I'm like, wait, what? Malleus figure 1/8 statue is now released. I'm just like, no illustration preview either. It's just bam, here's Malleus. Which is weird, because like the previous 1/8 figure scale releases, they usually kind of have like a little illustration to go with it before it's released. And then you get the full illustration, well, the full like preview of what the figure looks like, but like, I don't know, the figure productions are so random for this game. Because it's like, part of the reason is because of 2020, and the other part is just, I don't know what the scheduling is like for these places. Because, like, I know that, Kalim's figure, we had, like, the illustration announced, and then, like, for the longest time, we had, like, nothing. We did not see him until, like, a year later or something, and everybody was like, oh, finally! He's been freed! I don't think the wait was that long for Vil or Ida either, and then Malleus just comes out of nowhere. Like, how dare you jump scare me like that? You're already giving me jump scares now. Because, spoiler warning, Malleus is a giant toddler, in my opinion. I mean, there's people who kind of talk about Malleus, and they're like, oh, he's so cool, he's so mysterious, he's like my ooh dragon nerd with a gargoyle obsession. And I'm just like, you do remember that he is very petty, right? He is a threat to society. You remember that, right? He has too much power for his own good. You remember that, right? You know? He's a little unstable. Along with how he just talks down to everybody because he assumes that they're always weaker than him. I can't find the figure. I didn't even know Twisted Wonderland merch was real. Oh, there's quite a lot of merch. Oh, question, is Grimm related to Cerberus? Ortho's technically related to Cerberus, but, I don't know anything much. I don't know much about Grimm. Grimm's still kind of a mystery. He is indeed a little bit of a mystery. But everybody pretty much figures out right away that he's probably connected to the thing that you fight in the prologue. Other than that, his name is very much just a reference to, like, Brothers Grimm fairy tales, which is where most of the Disney movies get their inspiration. And yes, Twisted Wonderland merch is real. I have a Riddle Roseheart's Nendoroid figure. And a little Ortho Q-Pos. I got some plushies too. They're hanging over my bed. They watch me sleep. I also have, they have manga versions of the story too. Which is, manga is interesting because like each dorm chapter has a different main character. So like if you kind of want like a slightly more like a less self-inserty experience of the story, I'd probably suggest reading the manga. I thought Ortho was related to Hades and was a humanoid. Yes. Those are both correct. So is Ida. The Ignahide dorm is a little bit all over the place in my opinion, but not in a bad way. It's more like there's only 2 characters here, but they cover so much. Like, I don't want to spoil too much because I feel like that's my favorite chapter and I want people to experience it. Along with the fact that it's one of the longest chapters in the game. Like, once you get there, you're gonna be like, how long is this? Why is it so long? Like, the length in story for some of the chapters, that one was like the biggest jump so far. Because they introduced a little bit of like a new mechanic and a little bit of a new gameplay mechanic in there. But like Ida and Ortho, yeah, they're both related to Hades while also being both related to a few other characters in Hercules. Hades got treated like Zeus is interpreted in the original myths, based and scary. I guess. I don't know if when Ida brings this up, I think it's actually near the end of the Pomfiore chapter, but he does kind of mention something about his family lineage where he's like, our ancestor did a bad thing or whatever, and then we got cursed for like the rest of our lives. Like the way he explains it, it's vaguely the most accurate version of something that's happened in a Disney movie. Because, like, whenever they explain something that's supposed to be, like, a reference to, like, an actual Disney movie, it's, like, a different version of that tale, in a sense, where it's like, oh, the Queen of Hearts, she was, like, a leader who brought order to a chaotic land, but then it's like, oh, well, if you've actually watched Alice in Wonderland, she was the villain. Everybody was afraid of her. So, like, that's the thing, but, like, I think with Hades so far, I feel like the way his lore is described, Ida's family is the only one that technically knows, like, the real lore, sort of. Whereas everybody else is just like, oh, he's the keeper of the underworld, he's renowned for his diligence. What I mean is, in the original mythology, Zeus was a pimp who would go out loving with many different people. Some not even human or god. I was asking if Hades got freaky with Cerberus. No. No, not in this one. All the mythology in Twisted Wonderland is based off of the Disney movies. But, there is a little bit of, like, a connection between, like, real Greek mythology and the Ignahide character lore. A little bit. Just a little bit, but nothing like that. This game wouldn't have been allowed to be released if it was like that. Let's be honest. But like, with Ignite is my favorite. One of my favorite dorms. The other one is Stardew, which has the most characters out of all the dorms. And then there's Pomfiore because I think Appel is adorable. I love him so much. But Ortho is also my favorite character of all time because, yes, there's something about violent robot. Or like, goofy robot that I'm just like, yes, I love you. I don't know, Japanese anime have done wilder things, yet we're allowed in America, and in some cases even less wild than that. What I mean, basically, when I say that is just because, like, you know, it is still technically, like, a Disney property, and they still have to kind of, like, approve of things, even for the Japanese version. I thought Riddle was your boy. I have 5. I have, like, 5 favorite characters of, like, all time. Riddle is up there. Ortho is up there. Appel is up there. Lilia Von Rouge, the war criminal, and, Vilshunfeit. They're like my top 5. Ida's sometimes up there. The Tweels are sometimes up there, but like they're the most popular characters in all of Twisted Wonderland, so it's like you see them all the time. Actually, you see a lot of the Octafinale characters all the time because they are the most popular characters in both JP and English, based on some surveys that have been done for character polling. What about Kalim? Yes, he's also sometimes up there. He is adorable, but like, he's not my top favorite. I have like a very specific like thing with like characters who look one way but have the personalities that contradict it. And that's kind of the common thread between my 5 favorite characters in Twisted Wonderland. Because like, oh yeah, Bill's pretty, but he can kick your ass. Appel's adorable, but he is angry. Riddle is adorable, but he's angry and sad. Riddle's a special. Ortho is adorable, but he is also very threatening and violent. And Lilia is literally, I keep calling Lilia a war criminal because yes, he was like a war general. That's a spoiler. I'm surprised that nobody from Pinocchio has descendants in that game. Oh boy, I'm glad you brought that up. I haven't gotten to talk about the Halloween events. Because the Halloween events are also where you get a lot of interesting characters popping up. Halloween is usually the time where we get some new characters showing up. Oh no, where did I put this image? There we go. Allow me to introduce to you fellow honest and his partner in crime, Goodell. Let me try and shrink the image. Here we go. Fellow Honest is obviously the fox based off of John Goodfellow, and then Goodell is the cat. That was the latest, well, not the latest, but that's the one that's the latest for the English version of the game. And Riddle is small. Yes, Riddle is small. Riddle is very small. Allow me to introduce to you the first Halloween character. that threw everybody for a fit because they're like, how dare you have this character in your game? Blah, 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 blah. That's all of Savannah Claw, really. Here is Rolo Flam, the first Halloween event special character we ever got, along with the fact that we have a card of him too. And funny stories, fandom related about Rolo here. He was when the Glorious Masquerade Halloween event was first announced, people were upset. Hello, K-pop! Would you like to hear the story about how everybody was angry at Rolo Flam's existence? Because I think it was the funniest thing ever. Apparently some of those, like, anime news game outlets were picking up on this story for some reason, despite the fact they have no idea what this game is about. But, like, it was funny. People were just, like, angry because, like, oh, he's gonna be, like, a racist or something, isn't he? But it's like, no, he's not that. He's not based on that one. He's not based on that Frollo. He's based on the stage play Frollo, okay? I thought Frollo was unmarried, and then again, given his sinful life, it's a little wonder, I guess. Interesting. I mean, I just still don't have real answers about, like, Twisted Wonderland lore, if any characters are directly related to any characters. I feel like the closest character that's actually most likely confirmed to be related to a character from like, a Disney villain, specifically, I think is Sam, the shopkeeper guy. But maybe not. Because, like, timeline-wise, it could work. Because Princess and the Frog takes place in, like, what, 1920s or something? Oh, I thought the drama would be about that nasty-looking hairline. His hairline may be nasty. But I still like him. Yeah, people were like... Because, like, you know, the event was, like, just released, so nobody really knew what his character's motivation was gonna be or anything. Oh. Hold on, let me find an image. Spoiler warning, sort of, but not really. Sam's design does not look the same in English in Japan. And I can't find his actual design on this Wikipedia page. That is annoying. How dare you? But I have this image. Hold on. Time to change the image. Yeah, this is Sam. As you can see, for some reason they have removed every part of, like, a skeletal paint or design off of him in the official version if you come across him. I mean, you can find him with pretty easily, actually, because he's like in charge of, like, the in-game shop. As in, like, if you go over to, like, the in-game shop, you'll find him, even if he doesn't show up in, like, the story. But, like, yeah, he's probably the only one that's, like, related to a character. Probably, maybe not, I don't know. I still think Malleus is most likely a very close descendant of Maleficent. The resemblance is uncanny. Indeed. Indeed it is. Oh, I love that guy. I like him too. He's probably one of my favorite staff members. Cause, like, he got everything, you know? I like it when he shows up in events because they need somebody with, like, oh, here's your super special secret rare item to get you out of a pickle. Also, Ambi, are you one of my latest Oshis if I didn't say it before? Oh! I feel honored. What about Grimm? Didn't you say he is related to Hades and Cerberus? I said Ortho probably is. More than Grimm? Grimm still is up in the air. We don't really know too much other than he's just like... His name is just like a Brothers Grimm reference. But, spoilers. Grimm be eating some nasty rocks. And, yeah, that's probably what leads to the monster that's in the prologue, but, like, we don't know yet. We don't really know. Also, this little creature that I have on the side right here, not this, oops. Wrong thing's moving. But, where's my little Chenya? Yeah. Oh, no, he's locked, never mind. But, like, this little creature over here, he is also a character in Twisted Wonderland. I drew that image, though. But, he's funny. I like Chenya. Chenya's funny. Ah, no. Are there any Tron or Treasure Planet descendants or Atlantis? As for now, no. Which is sad. Although I'd say some of Ortho's outfits give off Tron energy. Chenya is my second favorite character. He's like one of my favorite of the side characters that show up because like he's just kind of funny. His art is so good. I want a Chenya card. I want the goofy cat man, please. We know what his magic is now. I don't know if you've well, we know what his unique magic is, but like we have the official name for it now. Sort of. It's still like not translated into English yet, but it's most likely just a Cheshire Cat quote. Like I like him. I like Chenya. There's so many characters whose unique magics I do want to know more. Cause like, what would Neji's be? I want to know. And if you don't know what unique magics are, it's basically like a JoJo stand ability, but it's a magic spell. Is anyone related to the Fates? No. They're an idol band. wait, let me show you this image. Where is it? Let me show you this image. Cause some things are referenced. Ignahide only has 2 characters. But a lot of the Hercules stuff is like referenced in other things involving these two, and Ida is a fan of idol groups. And his favorite idol group is basically a reference to the Fates. And I just find that so funny. Oh wait, I don't want to use that one. Wait, where's just the... Cause like he has they have like pajama alts now. And his is basically wearing the shirt with the Fates on it. Let me show you. All these images. I just yoinked this from the wiki. Here he is. I need to lock this. But here he is. And as you can see on his shirt, the Fates. And also, this is his bed head. He looks like a very emo man. The Fates are idols. They're entertaining, but not that entertaining. Well, it's just a reference to the Fates. Again, nothing is like directly related to anything, but like it is like a reference to stuff from the game, from the movies and stuff like that. But, yeah. The Fates are referenced as an idol group that is Ida's favorite idol group. And one in his like SSR card story is basically him being insulted about like his favorite idol group by his like dorm students, and he's like, "How dare you?" Excuse me. Like, "How dare you insult my favorite idol group, you noobs?" It's like, "How dare you try hacking this site, you noobs? I was the one who made this code." He looks like someone who would enter a BlackBerry. His bed head makes him look so emo. And I also have this card of him currently as like the one that is greeting me on my homepage with the bed head. He's up there with some of my favorite characters. But I must show you the all-time, the best Twisted Wonderland SSR card from the second run of the Fairy Gala event, which is very Tinkerbell inspired. So like the gist of both of the Fairy Gala events is like, oh no, these fairies that bring in the change of the seasons, they kind of stole they kind of stole a stone from us by accident because they're just like they're like too caught up in their little fashion show to like really care. So like we have to sneak into their little fashion gala and like get that stone back because it's ours. And we needed to run the air conditioning. The previous event, Ortho was not a part of it, but in the second event, he is the main SSR. He is the main boy who deserves our attention. He is the main distraction. And look at him. Look at him. He is so beautiful. And this image is huge. What happened here? This image is so huge, you just see the corner. Oof. So basically, Fairy Gala is the Pixies with the Tinkerbell attitude from the Peter Pan movie? Yes. They have like a fashion show too. It's like, oh yes, this is for the changing of seasons. Spring is coming. But we're gonna have a pretty little fashion show. And show up. Here he is! Why is this image so big? Here he is, the best boy, the most beautiful lad. He is a fairy. He is everything. He's got crystal legs, beautiful wings, butterfly decor, and sharp teeth. This is the first Ortho with sharp teeth. I love him. Look at how pretty he is. He's like a doll. I love him. He looks like a queen. Indeed, he's my queen. He's the most beautiful fairy in all of the land, and you haven't even seen the second part because this card also introduced a new feature that would be later implemented into many other cards. And that is that you can have them change their appearance. I mean, it's already kind of like default for the English one now that the characters, the robe cards, you can have the hoods on or off. That card is gorgeous. I still need this card. But Ortho's card introduced a new feature to like toggle the cards, their outfits, because he can turn pink. Cause like it was already like established in one of his cards that like, oh yeah, I can change my hair color to whatever I want, whenever I want, because yeah. And then we get this card and it's like, oh, it's pink and he looks so cute and pretty and I love him. He's beautiful. A beautiful boy. Clearly whoever designed him is a Rocky Horror fan. Yana really likes VK. In classic Yuri or something, I don't know. And Disney movies and Tim Burton and a lot of things. She likes a lot of things, and that's why Black Butler is a chaotic manga, if you actually choose to read it. Which I recommend. I recommend giving that a read. Also, here's another of my favorite ortho cards. This was from the Halloween event with the fellow Honest and Goodell characters, the Pinocchio characters. Again, he is the SSR. He is the boy of the moment. Look at him. I love him. That card looks like it smells good. I feel like all of Ortho's cards smell good. Because he has no smell. He is my boy. My number one. Ortho is my Oshi. And I also must show off more Ortho cards because I like him. I like him a lot. And this one is one of the dream cards, which I don't have. I don't have any dream cards so far. But, here he is with his full-on Cerberus gear is what it's called, and he's amazing. Look at him. Very Tron-esque, if you will. For the motherland. Ortho, probably. More like for my brother. I will do anything for my brother. Because he literally almost died for me. That's the relationship with the Shrouds, to be honest. It's like, I would die for you. Please don't die for me. But I would die for you. Please don't do that. I love him. He's ready to attack. He's ready. He's ready to attack. I love him. My favorite boy. Ortho is my Oshi now, I think. You gave me Cyberpunk, especially Tron. And you're my bestie. I must spread the Ortho propaganda. Who are the Shrouds? They're the brothers of the Ignahide dorm. I already showed you what Ida looked like. He looked like the emo. And Ortho was the little brother. Indeed, indeed. Ida is the dorm head, dorm leader. I forgot what the English version calling them of the Ignahide dorm. Ortho is just there. He is the emotional support brother. He's the emotional support robot. Cause like the lore with Ida is like he only showed up if he was allowed to bring Ortho. Villain Riddle are my Oshis. Same here too. They're still in my top 5. I have like 5 favorite characters I adore, and they're there too. Although Ortho usually tops the charts. So I just adore him. His aesthetics, for some reason, are so good. He is just very pretty. But now I must share with you some Vil cards. Because he is also very pretty. I mean, after all, he is, you know, his whole thing is being pretty and beautiful and all that. And I feel like this image really gives off Visual K inspirations when it comes to Twisted Wonderland. Besides Dream Riddle. Here's Vil. I love this card. I do not have this card. I want this card. Vil can respectfully step on me. I'm sorry. No, I understand. Look at him. Just look at him. He's gorgeous. Truly a fashion icon, this man. And this is also one of my desktop wallpapers. Not this image, but the other one. Like I think I have the ace card for this event. I know I have the free ones for this event. So Vil looks like someone who would seduce all the rich girls. He would take anyone. I don't think he would care that much though. He's focused on his goals, you know. This is one of my desktops. Look at how beautiful he is! And those gloves! This outfit is based on like some designer outfit or something. I think somebody found like what the gloves are actually based off of, but there were jokes about him having like the Infinity Gauntlet gloves or something. And I'm that rich girl. I mean, you'd probably have a little bit of trouble, you know. Cause a rook. Vil is like one of the prettiest characters. I love him. I can't wait to see what his birthday card this year looks like. Like I want the details, you know? I want the details of the routine. Give me your makeup routine, please. Give me your skincare routine. What are your secrets? Like I kind of like how that's what this year's birthday cards theme is basically. It's like what is your morning routine? How much of a gremlin is this character? How much of this character is a gremlin? How much of this character is actually somebody who cares about how they wake up in the morning? Cause Ida is absolute gremlin in the morning. And Lilia. Lilia is an absolute gremlin too. Those two don't sleep. They absolutely do not sleep. They're menaces to society. But I like how cute Lilia's card is. I mean, Vil is self-absorbed in his own grandeur. I wouldn't say that. He's more focused on his quest to be better than Neji. Is the best way to put it. Also, here's Lilia. This is the gremlin. This is the war criminal. This is the old man. Sounds like you want to be a gremlin with them. Yes. Yes, I do. Just look at this gremlin. Look at him. Pretending to be all cute and adorable. And then he wakes up in the morning and... Because, like, he's like a nocturnal fairy, too. Like, I think it is brought up at some point where it's like, oh yeah, I don't like the sunlight that much. I prefer the night. Because that's what most of the Diasomnia fairy characters are like. But just look at him. Lilia got me into Twisted Wonderland. Riddle got me into Twisted Wonderland, and then I found Lilia, and I'm like, oh yes, I am staying. Just look at this creature. Look at him. I love him. You need an imp model, I think, to match your gremlin energy. Mayhaps. But, that takes long. Just absolutely a gremlin. He is the cutest creature to ever exist while also being the most powerful. Well, not the most powerful, but he's a threat. He is a threat to people. If you let him be, he knows how to fight people. But he looks cute while doing it, that's for sure. Also I like this image because he has like 2 different colored shoes on. This creature. This is one of his birthday cards. He has 2 different colored shoes on. I love that. He is pink and blue. And if you are wondering what Lilia's character is based off of, it's the Maleficent army of goons. That's what his general inspiration is. William is a werewolf. Who? Who's you talking about? I think you auto-corrected a name. Are you gonna stream tomorrow? Yes, most likely. My usual days are usually Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Or if I'm not on Thursday, probably Friday. Because I do not have the stamina for that and also the time available. I can see why you crush on William. Who is William? Whomst is William? The autocorrect is confusing me. It is throwing me off. Also, would you like to see Stitch? Because this is also a Lilia card that I want. That I didn't get. But that I saw and I'm like, this is beautiful. Just look at him chilling there. Unaffected by the rays of the sun. He's vibing. I like how this event was just, oh, we're trapped in a book and we don't remember anything about it. An army of goons, he's certainly succeeding in his mission, if you know what I mean. Oh, Lilia. Hey, that was a word before the internet took hold of it, okay? But you're not wrong, but yeah. But just look at him. Look at him vibing. Unaffected by the rays of the sun because this is just a book. Stitch is not real, sadly. But he's there. And it was an adorable summer event. I love it. And all the outfits were really cute. And I love Lilia and his short shorts. Honestly, I want more of the Stitch event. I want more of this, please. Because the SSRs were really good. I didn't know Stitch existed in this game. Yeah, kind of. He was part of a special event that kind of set a new trend for some of the events that are called, like, Lost in the Book. And this one was Lost in the Book with Stitch. And it's basically the premise of, like, oh, we found a weird book, we opened it, and now we're here. And then by the end of it, they have no idea what happened. I mean, it's silly. It's silly. It's a silly event, but, like, the cards are good. The cards were cute. And it really makes me sad that Jack is usually relegated to R cards. Which I hope he's not an R card for the Tangled one. Please do not be an R card, please. You're too beautiful for an R card, Jack. This man looks like someone you'd want to chill at a pool or arcade with one not looking attractive. Lilia is cool. You want to see what Lilia looked like hundreds of years in the past? Because he's cool. He is very, very cool. And this isn't really much of a spoiler because this already happened in the English version too, so. General Lilia. The man, the myth, the legend. He is a bat creature. He is a general. He'll destroy you with that cleaver of his. I love him. I thought I kept hearing William, not Lilia. Oh, see you, Cake Pop. Oh, wait, did I read that wrong? Maybe. Oh, yeah, I read that wrong. Never mind me. Funny you say that. Lilia canonically has a kid. He is a single father. It is one of those things that is explained fairly early on too. that he has a kid. He takes care of a kid. You want to know who that kid is? You want to know who this kid is? Let me find the best one. Where's the good one? Here we go. This is a kid. Who is the child? His name is Silver. He has no last name. He just is. The only human character out of the 4 Insomnia characters. Yes, Lilia is a student. This is a little bit of spoilers. But this was also part of the English version too, so the English version already caught up with this information. But Lilia is like 700 something years old. And when he was like 100 years younger or something, he was given an invitation to Night Raven College that he ignored for like ever, and then Malleus is invited to Night Raven College, and he's like, you know what? I need to go with you because I need to see you, like, interact with people outside of this kingdom. I need to kind of keep an eye on you. Because I'm, like, basically your parent, basically your teacher, basically I gotta keep an eye on you. So he ends up attending Night Raven College with Malleus because of that. And then Silver ends up joining a year later, and then Sebek, because Silver and Sebek are, like, knights for Malleus. How is Silver more beautiful than his father? He is royalty, is why. Again, this is kind of spoilery for Silver, but he is indeed of royal heritage. That's all I will say, because I don't want to spoil too much about Silver, because I feel like it's more of like a, oh, I was not expecting that! But, like, it is basically sort of like the idea of, like, oh, Silver's raised by fairies. Kind of like a reference to Aurora being raised by the fairies in Sleeping Beauty. That's Silver. So, like, he was a baby. He had no parents, and Lilia's like, I will take care of you, human child. Even though I have no idea how to take care of a human child. But he managed to raise him, and he managed to live. And he is one of the goodest boys of Twisted Wonderland. He is also a light magic user. I mean, if it wasn't obvious that he is the goodest of good boys, look at these birds and squirrels just flocking to him. The animals adore him. But he also has, like, I don't think it's still fully explained yet why he's constantly sleeping. But, like, it's not a medical condition. There's just a problem with him where he ends up just falling asleep all the time. It could be his unique magic, or it could just be something else. There is a little something. Or just his curse isn't fully broken yet or something because he falls asleep. That's cute. Silver is very cute. Because, like, I guess a little bit of spoilers. If you haven't caught up with the Insomnia chapter, but this was early on Insomnia chapter, so, like, it was kind of explained. But, like, Silver, he was a baby during the war times in Twisted Wonderland, and that was, like, 500 something years ago or something. 400 years ago, maybe? I might be getting that wrong. He's, like, Silver was born a long time ago. But, like, during, like, the destruction of his kingdom or whatever, his parents are like, you know, like, we gotta save our baby boy. So, like, the fairies that were, like, that blessed his father with a sword or whatever, put, like, a little spell on Silver where, like, he won't be awakened until someone who truly loves him wakes him up. And that's how Silver is here today. Although, Although probably that's why he still has like a sleeping condition, because Lily is kind of like... I don't think Lily has ever admitted to that. So Twisted Wonderland is set in a dystopian time. No. I also really like that eel people from Twisted Wonderland. Ooh, the Jade and Floyd Leach, the eels. But as for like the timeline of Twisted Wonderland, it's more like modern fantasy time. But the kingdom that I'm talking about is Malleus's kingdom, which is like a very, very old fairy kingdom that used to go to war with humans because humans were invading them for like resources. And like that information has essentially been lost to time. And it is kind of referenced in game with some of the things that Silver, Lilia, Sebek, and Malleus talk about sometimes when you're in like the classrooms. I think Lilia mentioned something about being in the history books. Silver talks about like a kingdom lost to time. Something like that. I like Jade better. Jade, oh, Jade. Sebastian of the Sea. I don't know if you were here for when I said that Jade reminds me of Sebastian, but... Yes, Jade reminds me of Sebastian. And I have the image to prove why. From an old little slideshow that I made that I don't want to show anyway because like but like just look at him. Look at that face. Look at those faces. They're just the same character. How come the colleges have warped the ideologies of the villains to make them seem more morally upstanding, like in the college selection menu? It does remind me of Sebi. I'm not alone in the Sebastian comparisons. But to answer the whole why is Twisted Wonderland's like ideology kind of all messed up, it's because these things happened so long ago that the stories kind of got a little confused. Because in some of the events, they talk about, you know, the lore of the land. So there is an event in Twisted Wonderland that's based off of Snow White, where it's like, oh, we have this sled race to honor the animals that helped the princess who ran away from her evil mother or whatever. But then at the same time, the legend exists that, oh, the fairest queen of them all, she was like the best queen. She had beauty, grace, and like the ability to poison people. Like these two stories are like coexisting at the same time because like they've been split from each other for some reason. Like that's kind of what I've been getting. Because again, the story is still ongoing, and most of this stuff is kind of, you either get it from events or from the main story when the main story brings it up. Anyways, I gotta go. Bye. Bye-bye, Cake Pop. It was nice seeing ya. I don't think I'll ever have a yap session again for a while, but maybe if more Twisted Wonderland stuff comes out that I need to yap about, maybe. But tomorrow I'm probably just gonna draw something, so have fun. And Scar's story especially makes sense as to why it was warped, since The Lion King looks like it was set in a time before humans. Yeah, I don't know exactly what the timeline placement would be for that one. Along with the fact that since Wonderland is basically a dream world or something. Yeah, like there is interesting lore bits to the game, because like with the Diasomnia chapter so far, we kind of learned that like the dream realm is basically made up of like memories and like wishes, and you can kind of see that with some of the characters' dreams. But then again, aren't all your streams yap sessions even your art? True, I guess. You do got a point. But this one is like strictly pure yap, pure let me show you these pictures that I find interesting kind of a session. And yap about the lore of Twisted Wonderland because it's fascinating. allow me to show you Sebek, because she's also kind of important to the Diasomnia character lore. And kind of an understanding of, like, timeline-wise, how much things have changed, because Sebek is, like, half human, half fairy. Let me find one of my favorite Sebek cards. He doesn't have that many cards so far, which is kind of sad. Here's just a straight-on image from one of his birthday cards. Just to get you an idea of what this lad looks like. I'm gonna use this birthday card. Here's Sebek Zigvolt. Half fairy, half human. His birth shows that times have changed in the Briar Valley, because before, humans and fairies in that region did not get along very well. But look now, he exists. I wonder what Bambi or Woody the Pooh have to do with the lore. They might be part of special book events, in my opinion. I feel like some events might just be an excuse to have characters who don't really mesh too well with the lore. I feel like that's why Lilo and Stitch's event was a book event. But here's Sebek Zigvolt. Half human, half fairy crocodile. He got some internal issues he needs to work out. How does one get character cards in the game? So you would have to go to the mirror in the home menu if you've passed enough of the prologue where they shoot you over to the home menu. Because, like, I know the prologue for the first couple of chapters, you're kind of stuck there until they need you to, like, use the gacha system to summon your first cards. But in general, you'd go over to the mirror icon that's on the home screen, and then just, you know, use your gems or your keys and summon your characters. Your outfit looks like a bit like Sebastian's because of the threads. I mean, it has that energy. I'm not surprised. I mean, Sebastian's the one that dresses up CL, so. So the cards are basically the first gacha you get. Yeah, when you, like, play through the prologue, it'll shoot you over to it. And then, from that point on, when you have access to the home menu, you just hit the little mirror button. Gotchas. I mean, it is still a gacha game at the end of the day. All of these cards are very pretty. Very pretty indeed. I don't have a lot of gems. I mean, I know people... I've seen people who play this game for free and they have way more gems than me. And I'm like, how do you have the restraint? Cause, like, I'm always struggling, and then, like, every time an event comes out and I'm like, oh, I need you, or like, oh, I can skip that because, like, Like, for the most part, like, currently, at least on the JP server, they still have, Trey's dream card going strong. For a while, they had Cater's birthday card for this year. Although I do want Trey's dream card. He looks cool for someone who has unresolved issues. I think it's interesting, Riddle's lore and how it, like, crosses over to Trey, because Riddle's mom is not the best person. She's not the best person so much that it traumatized Trey. Like, that's how horrendous of a person she was. But, like, she traumatized somebody else's entire family. I feel so bad for you. I have restraint. Payment and gacha is overrated in my opinion. I also play Hoyo vs. Infinity Nikki, mind you. Yeah, I feel like at least for Twisted Wonderland, I'm able to save up stuff and like spend my card wishes wisely. Because again, I also don't. I'm free to play. Even on the well, not on the English version. The English version, I was willing to use like money, but Japanese version, I'm usually free to play. Riddle's mom is abusive. She's like the embodiment of like the most stereotypical helicopter mom you could think of. Like the most controlling, the most do not hurt my baby boy because I need him to be the most perfect creature in existence, even though I am actively harming him in this pursuit of perfection. Because, like, this is also explained in the Hearts Labiel chapter, so this was, like, very early on lore. But, like, Riddle, when he was, like, little, his mom used to let him go outside for a little bit after, like, completing his studies. And, he ended up encountering Trey and Chenya. They're, like, his childhood friends. But, one day, Trey and Chenya let Riddle try a strawberry tart, and then Riddle's mother found out, and she threw a fit so bad that she stormed over to Trey's family to lecture them all. So she's Lady Tremaine, but in the modern era? No! No, she's just a terrible mother. If you want the twisted version of Lady Tremaine, that's a different character altogether. This is also one of the Twisted Wonderland staff members too. He also recently they're starting to give the staff members cards, and he is one of the cards. Anyways, here's Twisted Wonderland's Lady Tremaine. Mozu Trade. He's your magic history teacher, and he has a cat familiar that's constantly in the room because he loves the cat. Hello for a strawberry tart. That's stupid. Yeah. Yeah, that event screwed up Trey. But like he doesn't show it, at least on the surface, sort of. But like in his dream world, kinda you kind of see like the effects of it because he's just like, I will dote on you. Also, this is what his dream card looks like. He's a chef. Because Trey Clover loves baking. He do the bacon. His family is bakers. He's also like an older sibling character too. So he has like a very like, oh, did you brush your teeth? kind of personality. Magic history, I would say that's interesting, but not with that teacher. And that sucks because I love history. That is exactly what Mozu Train is. He is the most boring of the teachers. like the characters make reference to the fact that he's very boring and by the books because he's just like lecturing the entire time. And I think the only thing that keeps some of the people awake is the fact that the cat is just in the classroom. Because it'll wander around and it'll probably, the cat's there. Cat's messing with people, I guess. But here's the other staff teacher. He is the potionology teacher, the alchemy teacher. And he is also a former fashion designer. And that'll make sense when you see what it looks like, because he's based off of Cruella de Vil. Twisted Wonderland stage show would legitimately go hard. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to do that. I mean, there's already a manga, there's already a novel, there's like a light novel. There's a bunch of Twisted Wonderland stuff. But yet, Twisted Wonderland version of Wicked. I mean, everybody's like good singers in this cast. But here's the other professor. He is the younger teacher. He is the cooler teacher. Hello! Hello there! Yes, Corel is very hot. He is stylish. One of the best teachers out of the cast. Where the novel. think one of the first novelizations is already out in English. In the Hearts of Beale novel. He looks like the least evil teacher. I mean, he's also kind of a strict character too. Mozu lectures you, but Cruel insults you. Cruel calls you a puppy. And he like yells at you. And he points that stick at you. And like he can actually drive. Yeah. Yeah, his card actually talks about like what his commute is like. And he's like lamenting the fact that he can't bring over his dogs. He's like, oh man, I miss my dogs. He is a dog person, surprisingly, but unlike Cruella de Vil, he does not want to turn them into coats. I forgot he calls his students puppies. He does. He calls all the students puppies. I think it's funny. Because I think he's one of the only staff members that kind of like does that. I don't know if Vargas does that. Vargas is the character based off of Gaston, if you're not aware. And he doesn't have a card yet, but it's eventually coming. Like we all know. So Cruel is Twist Snape. Probably, I've never read Harry Potter. So Trang can bring his cat, but Cruel can't bring his dogs. Cruel's apartment can't sustain his dogs. He can't walk his dogs to the island. He can't transport them over. Although I don't know if Train actually lives on the island. I know that Cruel is more like, oh, he traveled there. Like he wasn't living on the island. And then like, oh, he got the job as the professor after being a former student at some point, and like that's what I remember. Oh, here's Vargas. He's based off of Gaston. He is also the shortest staff member. And I don't like him. He's like one of my least favorite characters, mostly because he really is like every gym teacher you've ever had in high school. And that's the only reason I do not like him. Because like it just reminds me of terrible high school memories. I'm like, I don't want to remember that. Please no. Get off my screen. Get off my screen, short muscle man. Although he's eventually, I think he's the next one to get a card, because so far we got Crowley's, Cruel's, and Trang's. Next is Vargas and Sam, hopefully. I want Sam's card, man. That'll be cool. I want to know more about him, because he's kind of mysterious still. Oh yeah, and here's Crowley's card, in case you want to see it, and question whether or not he's worth, like, fawning over. There he is. The mysterious man. I can't tell if you're just that stupid or if you're planning something, sir. And what secrets are you hiding? What shady deals are you up to? You have me curious about who Vargas is. He's just a gym teacher. He's just a gym teacher at a magic school. He's like, you need to have muscles as much as you need to have your magic. I mean, like, he has a point, but he's also just... He's just very gym teacher-esque. He's hot but so dumb, also take off the mask! Indeed! I'm curious what your face looks like. I'm still not on board with the whole, oh, is Crowley secretly Malleus's long-lost father? I'm still not a part of that crowd. But I know something shady is going on with Crowley, and that's all. That's all I'm aware of. This man's done some shady dealings, I feel like it. Because, like, I think it's in the Scarabia chapter where Crowley kind of talks about... Well, he's barely there for the Scarabia chapter, but I think you learned through Colleen that the only reason he ended up attending Night Raven College was because, like, Crowley managed to, like, make a deal with his family that involved renovating the Scarabia dorm entirely just so Colleen could enter the school. And nobody can be a better gym teacher than a descendant of Gaston. Why do you say Crowley's shady? Cause he made a deal with Colleen's family to get like renovation money. Like, why would you need to do that? I see some fan art with his purple eyeshadow. Oh, why would he put eyeshadow? He has a mask. Nobody knows what Crowley looks like underneath the mask. There is no canon depiction of what he looks like without the mask. Along with the fact that even if you rip his live 2D model to see what he looks like underneath the mask, you're not gonna get answers. It's like they thought ahead about it, like, you're not getting his face yet, no. Along with the fact that he just completely leaves Crowley being shady, along with the fact that he completely leaves us alone during the entire Scarabia chapter. He's like, oh yeah, here's a phone, call me if anything happens. You try calling him and he's not picking it up. Well, everyone, it's been a fun yap, but I'm off to eat lunch. I can't spell, so I call her Mal. Yeah. See you later, Marcus. I'm not talking about Malgus. I know. Well, it's hard to figure out what Crowley's actually based off of, because, like, he could be the Evil Queen's crow, he could also be Maleficent's crow. Or Raven, one of the two. Because, like, I don't think Japan has a distinction between crows and ravens. So it's hard to figure out, like, what exactly is Crowley's deal. Along with the fact that he's also aware of, like, the potion, secret dungeon basement thing in Pomfiore. Because, like, yeah, Crowley knows something. I can feel it in my bones. Along with the fact because a lot of the characters in Twisted Wonderland feel similar in vibes to some of the characters in Black Butler. Crowley gives off Undertaker vibes, and Yana really likes Undertaker. And Undertaker is a shady man. So, like, I get the feeling Crowley's up to something. Cause, like, everybody kind of points out, like, there's too many overplots happening here. What is going on, sir? Crowley just that dad that's only there to give you gifts and never come back. Yeah, who knows? Like, I'm still not 100% convinced on the whole he's probably Malleus's dad thing. I feel like I need more for that to be more believable. I need more. I'd rather be proven wrong when the story updates more, but for now, I just know he's up to no good. And I will continue to joke about how he's up to no good. Because I feel like he is up to no good. There's just something about him. I'm surprised I haven't really talked much about Octavian so far. Even though they are, like, the most popular dorm in English in JP. Lilia Malleus' true dad. Maybe. I'm also not in that camp either. I mean, sort of, yeah. But, like, I don't know, the way Malleus talks about Lilia, I feel like also gives a hint that, like, I don't think they're that kind of dynamic. I've always gotten mentor-student vibes from them anyway. Same with Lilia and Sebek. But Lilia is definitely Silver's true dad. Even though we've met Silver's true dad. But Lilia is definitely a dad, that's for sure. A very gremlin of a dad, but still a dad nonetheless. He's out there trying to teach his students and his child. But I think the wires got mixed up somewhere along the way when it came to Malleus trying to learn some of these lessons because chapter 7 happened. I guess again, like I don't know if because like I don't want to spoil anything for anybody too much, so I'm just gonna mention like spoilers in case. But like the way Lilia was trying to describe how like grief works to Malleus, I don't think Malleus fully understood what he meant. Better dad than Crowley, and Crowley not even the dad. That is true. I mean, if Crowley truly is Malleus's actual father, he sucks. Even as like a leader, Crowley kind of sucks, and I like joke with one of my friends that I feel like the only reason Crowley has his position is because he beat the previous headmasters. Cause like how like the position of dorm leader can sometimes be like chosen by like challenging the current dorm leader. I feel like that's the same thing with the headmaster position. And that the only reason Crowley's in the headmaster position is because he beat the previous headmaster and now he's like stuck in this position and it's not truly qualified for. But he has like enough magic to like actually like stay there. As a headmaster and a dad. Crowley's a mystery. We'll get answers eventually, but so far he's very much a mystery. Like, are you truly a father, sir? Because if you are, you suck. And if you're not, you better have a good excuse. Because, like, I know Lilia said that Malleus's dad went missing, so they don't even know if he's dead or alive. We all know what happened to Malleus's mother, though, so... But Malleus is dead. Nobody really knows what happened to him. There's still, like, he could have died in the middle of the chaos of the wars, or he could have went missing. He could have chosen to disappear. But, like, I feel like the way Crowley is described doesn't really match up with 11. If he does not help in chapter 7, this time I'm a fight. Like, yeah, he's not hot, but I don't care. I still feel like Crowley is not gonna help out. Like during the Ignite chapter, he was like taken in for questioning, but we don't really know the results of that. Kind of like how it's just, like he shows up, but then he like disappears. And it's like, what are you doing, sir? What are you doing behind the scenes? How did your questioning go? Because, like, I feel like he was being, like, questioned because of all the mysterious overplots. Like, hey, like, 6 kids just... Well, 5 kids at this point just randomly overplotted. Like, what is going on over there? Why is this happening way too frequently? This so-called rare event has happened like 5 times. And the only reason we know about the 5th one is because we have access to security cameras. Along with Ida probably reported it, who knows? If he does not help, the other teachers are better than Crowley at least. Yes, they are. They genuinely care about the safety of the students. And, like, weren't they also, like talking behind Crowley's back during, like, the Endless Halloween event? Where they were, like, they were gonna have, like, a party, a Halloween party with just the staff, but they didn't invite Crowley. Because that's funny. I feel like that definitely sums up just how terrible of a leader Crowley is. That even the staff are like, they don't want anything to do with it. It's just like, sir, we don't feel like hanging out with you for the holiday party. Like, go away, please. We came here secretly because we don't want to talk to you. And I'm still of the opinion that second Halloween event was basically a huge foreshadowing of just how devastating Malleus's magic can be. Because, like, he just casually stops time just for some ghosts to enjoy a Halloween party. And then we see what he does in chapter 7, and it's like, oh, that's some devastating power, sir. Like, oh my goodness. And you're still like a child. It felt like it was like, Sam, did we invite Crowley? Train. That was Corell's job. Oh well. Oops, I forgot. Yeah, I feel like Corell was like, yeah, no, we ain't inviting him. But yeah, I totally forgot to invite our boss, who we all despise. Oh. This is funny. Like, I still remember when that Endless Halloween event came out, and I'm just like, oh boy, Malleus is really powerful, isn't he? I'm afraid of what his chapter will entail. And I was not wrong in that prediction, because oh boy. He has some devastating power for a fairy that young. He's casually destroying the fabric of reality just because he doesn't want Lilia to leave. I'm not blaming Lilia, but Lilia, you handled your situation very badly. And then Vargas was like, oh, don't worry, I invited him. You weren't supposed to do that, sir. Also, I guess Rolo was right. Oh yeah, Rolo was so right. Especially when it comes to Malleus. He had the right idea to not really like Malleus. Cause like he just uses his magic all willy-nilly. You know, cause like he's the most powerful thing on this planet. One of the top 5 most powerful beings in all of Twisted Wonderland. He can do whatever he wants, that's for sure. I'm like, oh no. You're tearing apart the fabric of reality right now, sir. You're messing with things that should not be messed with. Along with the fact that his unique magic is apparently using like some really ancient magic that like nobody's able to decipher at the moment. Man, a twink of Frollo, but Rolo is better than Frollo for a very clear reason. Indeed. Indeed he is. Even though his hairline is kind of funky. I like, he just, look at him. He looks so evil, so cool. With his fiery flowers that sap your magic. I do wonder if that'll come up. I don't think it's gonna be very useful, though. But again, I feel like some of these Halloween events just foreshadow just how, like, OP Malleus is. How difficult it is to, like, actually... it's actually gonna be, like, to fight him. Love his cards, though. Indeed. I like how when he was first, like, when the Halloween event was, like, first announced, people were, like, already trying to judge his character. And they were getting it completely wrong. And then the event actually comes out and you're like, oh, no, he's just like this because his brother is dead. Because magic abuse. And then you realize he's taken more elements from stage play Frollo than movie Frollo. Also, Rolo will be like, I hate magic, Mother Mary. Yet his magic is called Hellfire. Indeed. He is slightly contradiction. He has some little contradictions, but that just makes him more Frollo-like, in my opinion. That's what really, really makes him very Frollo-inspired. Because, like, oh, magic, I hate magic. But it's more like I hate the frivolous use of magic users. How they just use their magic carelessly without a thought in the world. Because that's how his brother died. Again, from like a very rare event of overblood. And I don't know, I think there's something about overbloods that Crowley doesn't want us to know. I am very much on the I do not trust Crowley train. You're hiding something, sir. You are sketch. Very, very sketch. No, I just realized this wiki hasn't been updated that well. Because I still don't really have Scully's info on here, but I'm pretty sure when he gets a card, they'll probably update it. You know, this wiki that I use is a little bit behind, but like I trust it more. Frollo is just edgy version of Ida. Indeed. Frollo's like the opposite version of what happened. Oh yes, we both have dead brothers, but you decided to take your hatred out on the world. I decided to take the hatred out on myself. And recreate my brother from the dead. I think that is funny though, the way that Ida was like, oh, so like, we can have like a whole story about how a hero saved his, the love of his life from the underworld, and brought her back from the dead. But I do the same for my brother and it's bad. Like, what are these double standards here? Cause like, I mean, that's technically what it's meant to represent, sort of, but like, it's not really that ortho. It's not the same. But it is funny. You know, that kind of, it was like a funny, sad thing that when that scene happens. Because like, I get it. I get what you're going for, Ida, but I don't think that's the proper way to grieve. At least that's what the staff members were kind of like when they encountered that. They're like, oh, this feels bad. I feel like we stepped across the line or something. But then again, it's like you've made a bunch of technological advancements just to bring your brother back from the dead. Figuratively. They were Greeks, Ida, and you made a robot. They brought the damn soul. It'd be like... I love Ortho's story. That's part of the reason why he's one of my favorites. Cause like he's just this robot who's meant to be somebody else. But he ends up kind of becoming his own person through it all, and Ida's like, you know what, you are your own person. You don't have to follow me around anymore, man. But you're still my little brother. And Ortho's like, I still want to be your brother. But I also want to be able to actually do things because, man, you don't let me do anything because you have severe social issues. Ortho, the only one we can stand. Indeed. You know, he tries his best to make Ida's life better, but Ida's a little bit too broken. Sort of. I mean, he is a gamer after all. He's already pretty antisocial. I was like, it's like, you know, have fun with your brother, man. Let him go outside. Give him more shoes. I still find it funny that the store for the athletic gear is basically just the Leech twins threatening Ida to give Ortho shoes. Also, can you imagine how Robot Ortho felt if Ida tried to get the real Ortho back? Oh boy. I think that kind of was what was happening in the Ignahide chapter, though. Because, like, I feel like Vill's little speech about, like, the whole 0 to 1% chance or whatever, there's still, like, a chance or whatever, that speech kind of really made Ortho go, like, huh, you know what? I will take risks. Might as well just reset the whole world. Either that or he was, like, hijacked or something. I don't know. I still kind of don't understand what was happening in the Ignahide chapter, even in English. Like, nah, I'll Ortho as my brother then. Like, even in English, I still kind of don't understand what was really happening, because it felt like either Ortho was being possessed by the original Ortho, or something was pretending to be the original Ortho and hacked Ortho in order to get to Ida or something. At least that's what I felt was happening, because, like, Ortho goes, because, like, he goes down to, like, the Tartarus Gate or whatever, because, like, I think he was, like, hearing something, I don't know, or he was, like, gonna start enacting, like, some plan, because, like, I think that was after Vil was giving him, like, this speech about, like, the whole 0 to a 100% thing, like, if you don't do anything, it just stays at 0, or whatever that speech was. And I think it was around there where it's either something from the underworld tried to possess Ortho by using the memories of the original Ortho that was in him, or, like, I don't know, Crowley's planning something. I don't know. I mean, he was there. He was there being interrogated. I'm still on the Crowley sketchy hype train. Cause, like, near the end of the chapter, when you see, like, the maskless Ortho talking to Ida, kind of being like, please continue living for us, it feels more like whatever was possessing them both was not the real Ortho. Speaking of Vil, I saw a rumor where the reason Malleus overblooded was because Vil kisses the MC. That is definitely not what happens. I mean, that's good fan fiction, though. But, I'm pretty sure the reason Malleus actually overblots is because of the whole Lilia's leaving, Silver's crying, he doesn't know how to deal with his emotions, so he's like, you know what, everybody's getting their perfect dream world, whether you want it or not. And that's where I feel like Lilia's teachings kind of messed up along the way in Malleus's brain, like his signals got mixed up, because, like, you know, Malleus is raised to be like, you're gonna be the next leader of this kingdom, and it is your duty to make sure your citizens are, like, you know, happy, because, like, oh, we've been so long without a leader, like a successor, and your grandmother is like, you know, she really needs to be, you know, retiring. Then there's Sebek. Indeed. Yeah, Sebek's also upsetty. And he's also part of, you know, his people that he needs to take care of, and I feel like Lilia's teachings kind of got warped into his brain, where it's like, I must make them all happy, because that's literally what I'm supposed to do as a leader, but he doesn't realize that he doesn't need to enforce happiness onto everybody in this manner. At least that's what I'm getting. Because he's pretty much being like, you're gonna be happy whether you want to be or not, and we're gonna stay together forever and ever. He's having a moment. Also, why was Ace the only one dreaming about the main character in the dream? Like, oh yeah, Ace, you shippers got their food. Probably because, at least with Ace, he's definitely kind of stuck around the most as, like, a main character, kind of companion friend. At least that's what I'm getting at, because, like, Ace and Deuce and Grim are kind of, like, the three characters that are, like, stand-ins for our protagonist character, because the protagonist character is, like, a self-insert. And so far, Ace is really giving shonen protagonist vibes. So it's like kind of if this series had no main character self-insert, I feel like Ace would have been the main character alongside Deuce and Grim. At least that's my opinion. Along with the fact that I think it's because Ace and Deuce in general are more closely friends with the main character. Because a lot of the events aren't really canon to the main story, so I feel like that's part of the reason why that's the way it is. My humble opinion, though. But again, I feel like, the game sometimes gives us nice moments to be Delulu over, so ACU shippers, I guess, go off. I feel like most of the dreams were just ships like Ace and MC, Rook and Vil, along with Neji, kind of. I mean, they can be definitely interpreted that way. That's kind of what I like about the writing. Is that on the surface, yeah, it's all friends and whatnot, but like in your head, you can be as Delulu as you want to be, all like, oh, this is so ship bait. But then again, like, these are like dreams that these characters are having, and you kind of just get more insight onto how important some characters are to other characters. Because, like, with Sebek's dream, you can tell that Malleus and Lilia are very important people to Sebek. To the point where he's like, no, I don't want Lilia to leave either. I want both of you to succeed and continue your studies. Also, Savannah Claw Rook looked, though? Like, Vil, what did you do to his hair? Rook did that himself. He did not have to do that. Rook's like, I'm gonna get a bob cut. Vil's like, I'm not gonna stop you. I have taught you the ways of self-maintenance. You do with that what you will. Although I do kind of like the freckled look on Rook. I like his freckles. They're kind of cute, but at the same time, the fact that it is a result of sun damage is also kind of like, I understand why you're trying to minimize the look. As someone with pasty skin at IRL, I was like, yeah, I don't want to get sun damaged either, man. Also, poor Kaleem wants Jamil to be happy. Then there's Jamil with Kaleem in his dream. I like the fact that it was explained that, like, as hard as Jamil does not really like Kaleem, he can't imagine a world without him. As much as he wants a world without Kaleem, he can't imagine it. Because, like, Kaleem's just a part of him at this point. I like the fact that Kaleem just wants to be, like, actual friends with Jamil. He doesn't want to be friends with, like, a fake anymore. Both in real life and in the dream, because Jamil's like, we're not friends. I don't actually like you, but I have to pretend to like you because your family, my family. The dynamic going on there is kind of like, like we don't want to upset the rich people. But Kaleem just genuinely is like, if I keep being nice to him, he'll eventually be my friend for real. Please be my friend for real. I want to be your actual friend, please. I thought we were friends. I think that's what I kind of like about Kaleem's character, though. Even though it kind of reminds me of Prince Soma from Black Butler, Kaleem's character is more like, yeah, I know that the world literally kind of wants to kill me most of the time. But I genuinely believe that if I'm nice to people, they won't want to kill me. But that fight Kaleem and Jamil had, I was so happy. Then the Tweels fight because of Jade seeing Floyd as a dumbass. The way Jade's brain works is kind of funny. Because he's like, oh yes, my adorable brother Floyd. He's kind of stupid. But Floyd's like, I'm not stupid and you know that. Like, it just kind of furthers my whole Jade, Sebastian of the Sea thing. Like, I'm not surprised that he kind of views him like that. Although I think Floyd's dream was probably the saddest out of everyone's dreams so far, besides Riddle. Because Floyd really was like, I hate how easy everything is. I am bored out of my mind. Please help me. Hmm. Which is interesting. Floyd's brain works so interestingly. I also like how in Azul's dream, when they had to like swap places with their doubles, they just straight up attempted murder on them. Like they knew themselves so well that they're like, I know how to trick myself. At least this version that Azul assumes of me. I know how to manipulate him. That was honestly kind of funny too. Because again, I like to joke that I'm pretty sure Floyd and Jade have committed murder before. Yeah, like poor Floyd. Also the fact that when he woke up and he remembered what happened when he got to Night Raven College and grabbed Riddle's like, like, oh, I've never seen the color red before, was this? But that is kind of funny. I kind of need to reread some of the chapters because I kind of, it's been a while, like the gaps between some of them kind of happened a while. So like, yeah. I need a bit of a refresher, but at the same time, it's like, I do kind of remember that. Just the memories of Floyd annoying Riddle was kind of funny. Like, no wonder Riddle was so on edge with Floyd. Indeed. I can see why, man. And I feel like Riddle's dream's probably the most horror-feeling dream out of all of them so far. Because, like, I mean, all of the dreams definitely felt like things that you would have in a dream. Like, some of them are just weird, some of them are just memories of, like, past events that are kind of altered a little bit because it's a dream, but at the same time, it's, like, it's still, like, a memory. And some of them are just, like, weird things happening in your dreams. And then Riddle's is very much like, I feel like we really dived into Riddle's psyche in comparison to a few of the others. I felt so bad for Riddle, but I loved his look. Me too. Oh, I loved him. I loved that look. I even drew him. Like if you follow my Twitter, I draw things, and I did draw Riddle in his dream outfit. I'm like, I'm sad the Overblock characters don't have cards for their dream outfits. Like, I'm kind of sad about that. But, like, I'm pretty sure it's because they're not going to be important to, like, the main fight, maybe. I don't know. Or maybe we'll get different SSRs for them later. I don't know. But, like, he looked so... Oh, I love that song so much. And he was, like, so happy. But then we really kind of dive into his brain, and you're just like, oh... That's kind of sad. And the way Trey was on edge the whole time. Like, man, he was traumatized from Riddle's mother. Savannah Claw has a card. Savannah Claw Rook has a card, but in the JP one. Yeah, I know. I played the Japanese version of the game. I am too impatient. Because, like, I still remember when the game was, like, first announced, and or its information was slowly being translated into English. And it's like, when is this game gonna release? Man, I want to play it. And I'm like, you know, I'll wait for an English version, but then I'm like, you know what? I'm too impatient. I want to play this now. I've already seen enough translated playthroughs to get through the story. Let me play. And then I did have the English version of Twisted Wonderland for a time, but the storage space on my phone was, like, in pain, so it's like, I kind of gotta get rid of stuff, and I'm like, I haven't had the English one for long enough, so I will sacrifice it, because I have way too many nice cards in my Japanese version. I may have gotten all the Fairy Gala cards in the English version when that was the event, but I had to make sacrifices. because now I have so many cards in the Japanese version. Most of them I still need to properly level up more. I haven't been able to like uncap them, the SSRs fully. I still don't know how to fully uncap the SSRs. So I've been like riding on the backs of people who have stronger cards than me to clear some of these levels. I want to download it, but my parents are strict, so I have to watch gameplay. Sadness. Ooh. Well, good luck with that. I mean, at least you're still getting the story, you know? I'm still, like... I at least still try to buy merch, because, like, I can. Like, hey, I must let you know, your game good. I will buy anything. Although I don't even have that much Twisted Wonderland merch, but I do have like the official mangas that they released in English that I bought from a bookstore nearby, so I'm doing my part. But most of the I have like 2 plushies. I got a riddle, and I got an ortho plush. And I got a little plush keychain of Vil on my bag that I literally take everywhere. So, that's a thing. And then I have like I have like the Riddle Roseheart's Nendoroid figure. And I have a little Ortho Q-Pos. It's a very tiny Ortho figure, but I love it because it gives me a good reference for Ortho's back, because you don't really see it that much. And I don't have like access to the art book. I think the art book is finally translated in English, but I don't know if it's like out yet. I went to a bookstore trying to find them. Ooh. I don't know. I've been seeing them pop up at some of the bookstores I frequent, so they're like, at least the bookstores I'm going to, they usually are still in stock sometimes. The manga that I have the hardest time trying to find is Ouran High School Host Club, because like I only found copies once at one bookstore, and then I go there again and there's nothing there, and I'm like, what happened? But that's a little bit off topic. But yeah, I do want to get the Ortho Nendoroid though, because that's really cute, and I want it to go with my riddle. It would be a dream to get one of those 1/8 scale figures, but I am too broke for that. Unless you want to pay me commissions, because I can draw. If anything, I can make you the cheapest VTuber model that functions, that looks decent you'll ever seen. That's what this is. I make them my own. Though I did used to work at I did used to work for the mouse at the parks for a time, which I'm surprised I didn't try ordering anything Twisted Wonderland from the time. I haven't. Oh, I also have like an Ignihide lunch bag that I used a lot when I was like working. And I've only encountered like one Twisted Wonderland fan in the wild while I was working there. It was a person with a Jack Howell Eat a bag, and I'm just like, you! But like I was too far away, so I'm like, I can't compliment your bag because I love Twisted Wonderland. Oh, but I also want to see the anime. Me too. I'm curious about how that release is gonna go down, because like we know it's coming to Disney Plus, but like, is it gonna be like Japan only for like the first couple months or something, and then it gets released on like the English version? And it's like, will they have an English cast? I don't know. I'm kind of scared. But like, I do want the anime. Sadly, we canceled Disney Plus, so I don't know. But hopefully, like an official English version comes out later by the time I'm able to reapply for a Disney Plus subscription. It better not. Yeah, like, I want to know more about the scheduling, because I wouldn't be surprised if, like, for a few months it's just Japanese only for a while until they have, like, the English voice cast kind of, like, decided. Because, like, I don't know if they'll actually have an official English voice cast, because, like, the game doesn't even have an official English voice cast, and you feel like they probably would have tried for that, but, like, I don't know. The game kind of came out in the middle of, like, COVID, so I feel like a lot of scheduling for the game kind of got altered because of that. I feel like that also kind of explains the weird release schedule for some of the figures. At least the 1/8 scale ones, because, like, Malleus's figure kind of just came out of nowhere. Like, no illustration, no, hey, we're gonna make the Malleus figure, here's the preview image of what it's probably gonna look like. They just, like, bam, here it is. Here's Malleus in all his glory. Here's that Ida figure again. Also, if they have an English cast, I'd be so worried. I saw, like, someone comment that if they don't copy Floyd's horse lab, they go on fight. Honestly, I am scared of an English voice cast, because, like, some of the characters have, like, very unique voices, that's for sure. At least, like, voice quirks, like Ruggy's little laugh and just Floyd's, like, tone of voice. Because, like, I don't remember the name of Floyd's voice actor in Japanese. I just know that he voices Bakugo in My Hero and Gyacho from JoJo. And those are characters that also have, like, very screamy, distinct kind of vocals. But I feel like it's kind of hard to find somebody to match that energy. Although I feel like with Floyd, it's very, like, there's just something about his voice, man. I always see Grim being voiced like Toad from Mario. Apparently Grim's voice actor is the same Japanese voice actor for Sasuke in Naruto. So if you didn't know that, now you do. Also, Riddle's voice actor is Tanjiro, and I never knew that. Yeah, I didn't know that for a while until I heard Demon Slayer in Japanese, and then I hear Riddle, and I'm like, oh, now I hear it. Now I hear it. I can hear it in the yelling. And in the crying, kind of. Now I can hear it. But, like, they still sound very, like, you know, uniquely those two characters. I know Malleus's VA used to be, like, a stage actor. And that he was in a production of Phantom of the Opera, so that explains how beautifully Malleus's voice is. And I can do a Toad voice, so when me and my friends pretend to be the Twist characters, I'm Grim 24/7. That's funny. Grim definitely has, like, a creature gremlin-y voice that I think is kind of funny. He's just a creature, man. With his little hands. That's also kind of why I worry about an English voice cast sometimes, because I'm like, can you actually replicate a sort of creature kind of thing that's similar to what Grim sounds like? Because I don't know, I've become picky with dubs over the years. Like, older dubs, I'm not that picky about, but, like, for certain ones, I'm like, I don't like how they sound. Although I think Kill la Kill is probably one of the best dubs that I've ever encountered in my life. Still, because, like, you hear it in Japanese, you hear it in English, and it really feels like it's still the same characters most of the time. So that's what I like to hear. And again with Floyd, I couldn't with his deep voice in Chapter 4. That was so funny. That was also just a completely different person, because I think behind the scenes, Floyd's voice actor had to like take a break or something because like I don't know what he was sick with, or I don't know if it was like a scheduling conflict. I think he had something going on. I know that it was because for personal reasons he kind of had to step back, but I feel like it also just ended up fitting with the plot of the story that was going on at the time. I feel like they were able to really pull that off to make it feel like, yes, this is still definitely part of the story, even though behind the scenes, this man is not here right now because he's sick. I still kind of want to know more about how some of these people's unique magic work, because like Azul is basically just trading something for something else. But then you get Ace's unique magic, and you're just like, oh, don't let Azul know this. Don't let Azul in on this one. I think that's why Floyd became my favorite. He is definitely one of the more popular characters, that's for sure. I do like Floyd. That and when he calls MC Shrimpy. Koebi-chan. Koebi-chan. Speaking of Floyd. Let's put him in the corner right now. There. He is calling you a shrimp. That was good. I can't. I'm not a voice person. I cannot do that. I just like how Floyd says, Floyd-chan. Because he always says it kind of funny. I remember, I don't know if I should say this, but like I remember I was talking to a friend of mine and he was kind of like doing some like voice impressions of Twisted Wonderland characters. And like he kind of showed his Floyd impression to someone and they were like, sorry, we can't have you voice Floyd because you sound too much like the Japanese version. I'm like, you should take that as a compliment because you did good, man. Cause like he has like that weird laugh, and it's like if you can get like the weird laugh thing, you should be able to do Floyd. Then there's Jade with his mushrooms. Oh, Jade and his mushrooms. I still find that MasterChef event so funny. Where he just encourages Lilia to like make the worst absolute meal possible. And then, like, oh, well, you helped him, now you have to eat it too, man. You helped make this mess. If he can sound like Floyd that good, I think he did a pretty good job, man. Because Floyd's difficult. Like, I was giving him tips, man. I don't know anything going on with that fan project he was trying to work on, though. I don't know what they're doing anymore. But like honestly, he did a pretty good film. And I continue to encourage him. I must encourage the homies. I have Lilia's. I think I have Jade's card too for the MasterChef events. I know that they don't call them MasterChef in English because like copyright or whatever. But like, I find those events very funny for the most part. I think Jade and Lilia's was the most chaotic duo ever because like, you can't trust Lilia in the kitchen. You can trust Jade in the kitchen, but you can't trust him to not cause chaos when chaos presents itself. it's funny because like yeah, he found a way to throw in some mushrooms in there because just random mushrooms he found because like I wonder what these do. Let's just stick them in there, see what happens. I saw someone do a Rook in a Zool-like voice, and woo boy, I loved it. I can't do anything. I mean, I feel like the best I could do is like grin, but like that seems like it hurts. It's like he got the I'm the great grin. Like I can't do that. I go too gremlin-y. Can't trust Jade in the kitchen when he has mushrooms. No, you cannot. Can't trust him when he's curious about his mushrooms. And I like how it's Rook who ended up eating the mystery mushrooms and not just somebody else, because I feel like if it was anybody else, they would not have been able to handle the situation properly. But because of how weird Rook is in general, he was probably like the best one to try it. And I like how with the card, if you have Jade's Master Chef card, one of his little dialogues kind of has him like starting to like be like, oh, my tongue is numb. Like you can hear it in his voice that he starts going like, oh, eat mushroom. like he's starting to feel the effects of like his tongue going numb. Because like he eventually tries it as well. Like, you know, as long as Rook didn't die, I'm sure these are safe. I still find Lilia's to be funny too, because it's like, oh, he's just going rogue here. He does not know what he is doing. Rook is Rook. That it's like not even Floyd would eat it. Floyd's a victim of Jade's curiosity. He's like, no more, please. I don't want your mushrooms. And yes, that is the best way to describe Rook. Rook is Rook. We do not question him. His existence is just that. We'll not we'll not dive too deeply into his mind because it's just that. Besides, he doesn't want to let people know anything about who he is as a person anyway. But like we get enough glimpses, you know. I feel like his dream chapter kind of helped get more of an understanding of what he was like as a person before he met Dill. I also didn't finish properly reading that chapter. But like I do remember that it was kind of like Rook was like, you know, what if I didn't become friends with Dill? Then all of that bad stuff that happened in the Pomfiore chapter wouldn't have happened. And I can just continue to admire Vil from afar. Also, Rook and Floyd having nicknames for everybody is good. Rook is French nicknames and Floyd is fish nicknames. Yeah, I do like that because it also gives you insight on like how they view other characters too. Especially Rook's nickname, because Rook is a lot more like insightful with people. Like he's kind of good at reading people and getting into their head. Which is why his opinions are the ones that Vil trusts the most. Because he will objectively tell you whether something is beautiful or not. Even though he kind of says everything is beautiful. But like when something is not beautiful, he will let you know. I kind of don't like some of the localization changes for some of Rook's names though, because I feel like it kind of misses the point. Rook based off like, and Floyd based off how he views you. How you look, yeah. Floyd's is more like surface level. You remind me of this kind of sea creature. You remind me of that kind of sea creature. Rook's is more like, I've seen your personality from a bit and I can kind of get a good read on what you are as a person. Jade is always up to no good. Floyd is very spontaneous. And that's definitely the best way to kind of differentiate Jade and Floyd, is that Jade's more like, if I see the seeds of chaos, I'm going to sow them. And Floyd's more like, I just do whatever I want. Because, like, the Halloween event with, the Pinocchio themed Halloween event was kind of funny because Jade was kind of like trying to get Vil on like the roller coaster, but Jade's like, I don't want to go on the roller coaster. I don't want to go on the roller coaster. But he's like, Vil's like, well, come on now, you're the one who wanted to go on the roller coaster. And Jade's like, I regret trying to go on the roller coaster. So that was kind of funny. And then there's Azul. Money, 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 food, no, I'm fat. Food, money, money, money. Azul's very interesting too. Even in his dream, and like in the canon of the game, he kind of becomes like the bullies that he like used to deal with. Which is kind of interesting for his character, to be honest. Because like in his dreams, he's basically like in the role of like the people that used to bully him, which is odd to think about. Because he's like, oh, I wish I was never bullied as a child. I want to hide everything about my past. And then in a perfect dream world where that bullying didn't happen, he was on the other end. And that's also kind of how he ends up in canon, sort of. He's kind of like, you know, I'm gonna pick on you. I'm gonna exploit your weaknesses. My dad's a lawyer. I know how to exploit your weaknesses. Which is why I think his unique magic's also kind of interesting, because it's like very elaborate. You know, it's more than just taking somebody else's magic. It's more about like, you know, giving them the false sense of like, you can totally win this deal if you just agree to my terms. But everything's still rigged against you because I know how to write contracts and you don't, so. I think out of like everybody's unique magic, I think Azul's is probably the most complex so far because it's like, you know, it requires contracts. Even though it's basically just, I'm taking your magic, there's like a lot of steps involved with it. Also, I'm still a little bit confused on Vil's magic, because like, I know it's about like poison, you know? Like, he can just make the most potent of poisons with it. But like, does it involve like, is it very specific of like, oh, I want this to be poisoned, or is it more like, if I touch it, then it's going to be poisonous? Because like, you know, he poisons the apple juice, and it's like very obvious that that's what he did. But then like in the Ignihide chapter, when he's like breaking out of the dorm, not the dorm, but like the cell, when the power goes out and all that, like he uses the magic and it melts the door. So it's like, is it based on touch, or is it more like, if I looked specifically at this thing, that's what's going to be poisoned? I have to go now, but I was here for as long as I can now. Bye. So long. I need to wrap up too, man. I've been talking for so long. It's time to end the app session. This is the longest I've been going on, so I don't think I'll ever do something this long ever again, but who knows? And maybe in the far future, if any more Twist news excites me, I might do something like this again. But it was fun. Thanks for dropping by. I will be here tomorrow, but I'm gonna do art for like an hour or something, not for this long, so.